Hello, Robert Rodriguez here, director of Alita Battle Angel.
Ni hao, GAMECORES fans. I'm Rosa Salazar, and I'm joined by
Christoph
and
John.
And we are here talking about our new film, Alita Battle Angel. Go see it on the biggest screen you can find.
And I'm sure you can't find one.
Alita, you are someone very special.
I don't know what I am.
I do. You're the most advanced weapon ever.
The manga is an incredibly dense, expansive universe where there are such crazy characters, so diverse, and there are many, many, many episodes. So much happens, and to me, that represents real life. But the main thread for all manga, I think, and what Yukito Kishiro does so well and so brilliantly, is that he has made a very earnest story, a very human story, and a very fantastic, dynamic character called Alita.
What the manga is something that transcends a nationality. It is a global, relatable story, a journey of self-discovery, of a character who does not think of themselves as being significant in any way. And they discover within them is the ability inside to become a hero.
For me, it's one form to capture one idea that is uses a specific culture as point of departure for a universal story.
And I'm just an insignificant girl.
That's what they want you to think.
I avoided the manga for a particular reason. Back in early 2000, I saw a story that Jim Cameron was going to be making, Alita, and it had a picture of her and a picture of Jim. And I thought, okay, I don't want to read the manga because then I'll know how the movie's going to end. And it said that was his next picture. So I thought it was going to come out a couple years later, and it just never came out. So it wasn't until I read his script first that, and I decided to work with him on it, that I went back and then read the mangas. And it was like, and I read all of them, they were amazing. But he kind of really was disciplined about making it just about the first story only, from a couple of the books where it goes from her being innocent and not knowing who she is, ending with her knowing who she is and on a mission. I mean, the difference between the script is that Jim took the manga, was inspired by it, but he knew he had to create something that was for all audiences all around the world, like he does in his other movies. He needed to tell a cinematic story, where with Sin City, I try to just be really faithful to the books. Even then, I had to craft it somewhat. This was really took more license as far as, let's tell a story that could play to all audiences, not just the manga fans, and that has more universal truths in it, and more humanity, more heart, more emotion, because it has to attract a big audience because it's going to be an expensive movie. You know, when you draw a manga, it costs $10. I mean, it's just ink and paper. But on a movie scale, it's very expensive, so you can't just make it for manga fans. It's got to be for all audiences. It's beyond a science fiction film. It actually is something that even my parents could see it and find stuff to enjoy. You know, children, adults, women, men, anyone can relate to this character.
I don't understand how she could create such power. She's just a girl.
She contains technologies that have been lost for 300 years.
If you wreck this body, I can't fix it.
I know, but I do not stand by in the presence of evil.
So in casting of Alita, we could have cast anybody in the part because we were doing it with a computer-generated character. We needed to find a performer who could give us the nuances, the subtlety in the performance across a range of emotions, from the wide-eyed innocence at the beginning of the movie, to the love in the middle of the movie, to the warrior revenge at the end of the movie. And the only one person we found who did all of those things was Rosa Salazar. Then in this world, when you're sitting there trying to say, okay, how do you ground this movie in a reality when we're doing such fantastical things? We need an anchor. And Christoph Waltz and his acting talent, which is bar none the best in the world, grounded us in that anchor.
Jim was always gonna do it himself, and he was gonna do it in 2005, but did Avatar instead. So when I asked about it, he let me read it, and I loved it. So he decided, well, I'd rather give it to Robert than not get it made, because Robert understands it. And he and I had tried to work together several times before. I've known him 25 years, so we were gonna work together in '97, and then again in 2003, but I did Sin City instead. So this felt like third time's the charm. Let's do this one. He was busy with the Avatar, so that was the other reason he let me take it, because he knew that I could just go make it and he wouldn't have to babysit. But I still could write him emails in the middle of the night asking questions, and he would send back long, wonderful answers, very thorough. And it was amazing. It was amazing that he would be such a great collaborator. He only visited the set once for the bar fight, but he was always in contact and was a great mentor. Always watched anything I had him watch, give feedback, and it was the best producer I've ever had. And like I usually operate the camera myself. Like I like to get handhelds right there with the actor. Well, this camera was so big. It's a dual system 3D camera that it's on a crane, and there's 3 people operating it. So which one am I going to be? Am I going to be? So I might as well just watch it in 3D from the monitors and not be operating. And then I have a great DP, an editor, composer. I've done all those jobs many, many times. So it's easier to communicate with all those masters when you know the job, and they're really great at what they do. So it was great getting perfect, the perfect person to do the role and to do the great job on it. I didn't have to worry about it. I could concentrate on the actors and the story. But I also can collaborate with them because I speak the language. I mean, it was the hardest part. I've seen a lot of big action movies and big movies where you just get lost. I mean, there's so many characters. It's easy to get lost, and then you unplug emotionally. And Jim's script was so clear in the action that I wanted the action in the screen to be just as clear. So that took the longest, motorball, the fights, so that you always knew where you were. There's a lot of characters, a lot of action, and you didn't want the audience to get lost and then feel like, oh, it's just a big Hollywood action movie, I don't even know what's going on anymore. It just becomes mind-numbing. You really always wanted to be with her and really never lose sight of her. I have a movie that's coming out next month that I made for $7,000. It's at South by Southwest, called Red 11, from my medical research experiments I did to pay for El Mariachi 25 years ago. That's really cool because it has a documentary that shows I show you how to make a movie by yourself with no money, feature film. Machete Kill, well, I have a bunch of leftover sets from Alita, so I could do Machete Kills in Space. If everybody goes and sees Alita, then we'll have enough money, box office, to pay for the first movie, then we can do a second one. I would love to do a second one.
If the audiences tell us, I think we're all prepared to give them something.
I love Alita. I liked playing Alita. I want everyone to meet Alita. I want everyone to go and see this film and enjoy this film without the supposition from a studio telling them you will enjoy 5 of these and cram it down their throat. This is not what we did. We made a movie for audiences, a movie. I would love to play Alita for the rest of my life. And thanks to the performance capture technology, I could.
Even longer than that.
Even longer than that.
This is really what we do, what our raison d'être is, more or less. Get you as an audience, grab you, pull you into the story and say, here it is. Be with us, experience it with us.
Well, first of all, don't say someday. We're doing it now. Yeah. A person with a pacemaker that keeps them alive on a daily basis, they're a cyborg. Tilly, we gave prosthetic arms to a young girl where she needed new arms, and they're in the style of the berserker body, and she now has hands and arms that can manipulate that she didn't have. She's a cyborg. Tilly lost her arms. She needed those arms. She needed it to survive in life because she did not want to be thought of as different. She wanted to assimilate. And that's the opportunity that I think the cyborgs have.
The key word here is she needed them. I think technology should help us in what we need and not force us to submit and justify the technological advance.